Hello Wolfpack, welcome back. We're here, we're on Cardano today, ADA. I haven't analysed Cardano since maybe my second video I made on this YouTube channel, and I feel like I owe it an analysis. Now, I'm going to say, just to preface, what I have to say about Cardano is not necessarily bullish, right? I'm not necessarily bullish on Cardano right now in the current state of how it's looking. In terms of fundamentals, I think it's definitely a very interesting coin. As you can see, we picked up Cardano on this YouTube channel here at around $1.05 back in July or maybe June on one of these dips. I think it was July because we saw that double bottom coming in. We picked it up there. And it's gone pretty well since that point. We've close to 3x since that point. But as of right now, I think, we look at the chart here, we're a little bit, in a bit of dangerous territory. And whether we go up or not, I'll look at that in a second. Short term, if you're holding Cardano, don't get scared away. Don't just go disliking the video because I don't agree with you. But, I do think it's going to go up more. But I think that as for entries, as far as entries go, it's probably not the best time to do that. There are definitely better coins to buy that are still a lot further on the ground. And obviously the radical Cardano fans who think it's going to go to, replace Ethereum in the cycle would disagree with me there. But, that's just my personal opinion. But at the end of the day, it is solid, right? I can't deny that it is solid. It's come up. A co-founder of Ethereum founded Cardano. It's basically, I could say directly, but I'll say indirectly rivaling Ethereum as a proof of stake blockchain. Doing a lot of work in Africa, which is something notable that I've seen in recent times here in Cardano. But the reason why I think Cardano has moved up so dramatically is due to the fact that Ethereum has had a lot of problems with their gas fees. Obviously, Cardano did gather a bit of traction in the last bull market, but not necessarily too much, right? It's definitely put itself on the map in this bull market. A lot of people wouldn't have heard about it until January this year when it made its first moves, because it moved up quite quickly. And as I said, Ethereum gas fees, various things to be solved on Ethereum that Cardano does offer. Whether the fundamentals are strong or not, that's not necessarily what I'm going to be looking at in this video. I'm looking at the TA, the technical analysis, and I'm going to show you what I think is going to happen with Cardano in this video. So what we've actually seen with Cardano is it is a pretty, it's a mover. It moves very interestingly. I'll say that, and the reason why I say that is because it seems to move in very distinctive levels, right? We had a move up, we leveled out. We moved up, we've leveled out this whole time, we've moved up, and we're leveling out right now. And if I actually take away everything on this chart, what we can do is we can draw up a little map. And, I do like Cardano for swing trading. What I don't like Cardano for necessarily in the current state of the market is holding. Now, I do hold Cardano personally, right? I have Cardano, but that's because I've got it at a lower price, right? I bought Cardano down here at $1.05. I'm happy to hold it. At these prices, I think it's a little bit of a bad decision to buy it simply because of the fact, well, it's already moved up massively, right? It's already, I think, 200x in this bull market. That's off the top of my head, right? It might be less than that, but in this bull market, 200x, 100x at least, right? Why would you not buy a coin that has solid fundamentals, that is further on the ground than Cardano? It seems illogical to buy a coin that is already so far in the sky, because what's the most Cardano could do, right? It's third on the market cap ranking, fourth on the market cap ranking, sorry. How much higher can it go? Its market cap is 70 billion. Moving this asset will take a lot of buying power. And that's not to say it won't move. It definitely will move. I'm still expecting Cardano to go higher in this bull market, right? I have my target, and we can do a quick target quickly, just based off of my base prediction model. We can take the Cardano price here in May, and we can say that, well, Bitcoin reached a price point of around 64k in May. My price prediction for Bitcoin is 113k at the end of the cycle. So assuming Bitcoin just under 2x's, we'll add maybe 25% returns for Cardano, because it is a high cap altcoin, but it is an altcoin, so it will perform better than Bitcoin in terms of returns. So we'll add maybe 120, 115% here for Cardano. We can say roughly, we reach around that $5.30 region. Now, it's very rough. That's off the top of my head. Obviously, I don't have a calculator on me right now, but that's not the point. The point is, this is just a rough target, and I'm not necessarily, keen to make a solid target, because I'm not necessarily planning to hold Cardano for the entire bull market a long period of time, because I've already made my profits, right? I've already sold a lot of my bag. Now, I am still holding some of it, but I'm holding that for the long term. I don't really mind what happens in this bull market for it, but the fact of the matter is that and I want to look at this quickly before I get into some of the bearish technicals. This is why I do like Cardano. Now, I do like it to a certain extent, is because, as I said, it has this level pattern, right? It moves up, it levels, it moves up, it levels. It's done this multiple times. And the best thing you can do with these kind of patterns is trade between the lines, right? So every time Cardano comes down and tests the green box, buy, wait for it to go up to the top, sell, come back down to the bottom, buy, sell, buy, sell, right? It moves like that, and that's what it's tend to be doing. And obviously that's great if you're a futures trader and you want to take some leverage as well. Those smaller moves, right? These smaller bounces here. This bounce from say 94 cents to around 53 cents. I mean that's already a 59% gain. So you don't really need to trade it with futures, but if you wanted to, you can make easily hundreds of percent of profits there each bump to the upside, and relatively low risk, right? So it is a swing trader's heaven to a certain extent. Now I go back and I bring up all the stuff I had before here for Cardano, and what we can see and what I'm looking at for Cardano, well, is the fact that we're in a very similar position to what we had when we were in this position here, right? So we had this top out region, right, after moving up substantially. We topped out here, and now what we're doing is we're correcting and we're actually bottoming out, right? So this will be a surprise to you guys. I did say that I was bearish on Cardano. You know, I'm not bearish on Cardano. As I said, I will. I do see it going up in this bull market, but as you know, as I've said multiple times, I want to clarify this once again. I don't think it's the best coin you could be buying. I think there's coins for a lot higher potential returns, but you know, nevertheless, I think it will go up in the short term, right? And I'll tell you why. Well, we have this pattern here, right, in May that we identified. We dropped down in May, and we did a bit of a rounding out. Currently, we're doing the same thing, right? We're rounding out, and what happened after the round out in May? Well, we had a bit of upside movement, expecting a bit of upside movement to this resistance zone here at around $2.50, maybe a short rejection, and then another spike upwards to the upside, right, in December. You know, possibly into January. So I'm expecting one more move for Cardano, ultimately. One more big move, because, you know, as we have identified, it trades between certain price points, right? So what we actually need to be doing on Cardano is realizing that, well, you know, most of the time it's just going sideways. Most of the time, right? Most of the time it's just going sideways. Essentially, yes, it's spiking up massively, but it's always coming back down to its trend line, right? So what we can expect is, you know, most of the time just going sideways, coming back down to a trend line. But eventually, by the end of the cycle, we will have one more big move to the upside if the pattern will repeat itself. And as to when that will happen, well, we can look at the SMAs. And we can see, well, all of the SMAs, all of the short-term SMAs are converging on each other. They're all clamped together, which suggests that a massive move is coming. Whether that will be to the upside or the downside is something we need to look at other technical indicators for. If it's to the downside, I will be looking at this area here at $1.58 for support before heading upwards for the rest of the cycle. But if it's to the upside, that would make perfect sense, right? Bitcoin is recovering strongly. Ethereum's going pretty well, right? Cardano hasn't really done anything in the time that these coins have been moving. So it does make sense for Cardano to have a wick to the upside, and that would finish off this cup formation, right? So that's the most likely scenario. I think we are going to be going to the upside. And another reason for that is the fact that, well, we've flattened out on this MACD, right? And the last time we flattened out on the MACD, we had a flattening out pattern. Yes, we moved down briefly after that, but ultimately we ended up having this wick to the upside, right? So that's another scenario, right? We flatten out this MACD. Yes, we may go down to about $1.58, but ultimately we'll wick up to the upside and make a new all-time high. So what happens in the very short term is irrelevant, because I ultimately think it's going to go higher, right? It's just whether it goes to this $1.58 support zone first or not is the major question that I'm looking at for Cardano. I think that it probably won't, right? I think that it probably won't. I think it will just go up from here, but I wouldn't be surprised if it does. And this is another reason, well, I don't really recommend trading this coin, right? Because it's too uncertain. And when a coin is too high, you know, when a coin is too high like this, you have to think about how many people are holding their bags from when they bought down here in 2020, 2019, that are just going to sell on you, right? Even with a large market cap like this, there are massive whales out there waiting to sell. You know, at what price point are they going to do that? That's the problem with coins that have run up so much. What I can tell you that I'm looking at for Cardano right now is the fact that, well, we've just seen a bearish MACD cross on the weekly chart, and we have a bearish RSI divergence on the weekly chart, right? Let's actually make that a little bit cleaner. We have a bearish RSI divergence on the weekly chart where the RSI is moving down, the peaks are getting lower, and the peaks are getting higher on the price chart. So on a longer term scale, you know, no matter what you want to believe, the technical indicators say we are bearish on a longer term scale. That doesn't mean we need to correct right now. right? That doesn't mean we need to correct right now. What it could mean is that, well, we have that last peak in December, maybe January, and then we have a very, very, very harsh correction, harsher than most of the altcoins into the bear market. But, personally, I think it would make sense to correct now. And I actually think it would be more healthy for Cardano to correct now, because if we do correct now, and we flush out all of these indicators, reset them quite nicely, we come back down to, as I said, say $1.58, bounce around there for a couple of weeks into December, and then make our moves up with a refreshed bullish MACD cross and crush that RSI resistance, well, then we're in a much better position, and then we can quite confidently say, well, we're going to be reaching that $5 target that I've just outlined before. Whereas if we just keep grinding upwards, because Cardano is not really correcting, it's never really corrected, right? You can say it's corrected. I mean, it technically has, right? It corrected here from May to July, 58%. That's a correction, but we still held this baseline, right? We still held this fundamental support block. We never lost that. It looks a lot different to other coins. As I said, there's much more sideways movement. It's like a staircase almost. And seeing that it is a staircase, this is why it's so conflicting to me, because on one hand, I want to say that we'll move up here. The technicals in the short term suggest that we move up right here, and we're clamping together, and in the SMAs, we've got the Bollinger Bands. We're on the bottom line of the Bollinger Bands. They're tightening. When the Bollinger Bands tighten, it means the move is on the way. So there's definitely something on the way, but the thing is, we just can't really be too sure what that's going to be. I would say that I lean towards it being bullish just because of the state of the market right now, but it could very well be bearish, and this is what I want to say. Cardano is just simply probably not the best coin to be buying right now, mainly because, well, all of the long-term indicators are incredibly bearish. The short-term indicators, I would say they lean towards being bullish, but, we can't be too sure because the long-term indicators are bearish, and that kind of outweighs our certainty there. One thing I can say is the Bitcoin dominance chart, as we'll come back down to this support region around 3,000 sats to around 4,000 sats. We are bottoming out there, so it would make sense for us to move upwards on the Bitcoin dominance chart. It would make sense, and therefore we could say, well, it would make sense to move upwards on the price chart, but at what point do we have to realize that, we have this long-term bearish divergence in the RSI, we have seen a bearish MACD cross, maybe this isn't going to be, a big performer for the rest of the bull market. Maybe it's done its performance. As I said, let's actually measure it this time. We've moved up, we've moved up, 4,400% in this bull market. At some point, you might just need to sit back and, even though you're bullish on the fundamentals, buy back in the bear market. It's going to go lower than the current prices in the bear market. If you really like the fundamentals, wait for the bear market, But, swing trading, as I said, it is a swing trading coin. Ultimately, I probably would take the trading signal here. We have flattened out, as I said, rounded out. We've got a pretty nice cup formation coming in. We've got the SMAs clamping in. We've got the Bollinger Bands telling us we're going to be going to the upside. But it isn't the most confident signal that I would be liking to make. What I would be doing if I was going to make a signal, and this goes to you guys, if you're going to make a trade on this coin here, I would be waiting for a breach of around $2.50 before entering, because that would confirm that we're actually going to be finishing that cup formation. Once we breach $2.50, yes, you'll be sacrificing a bit of your profits in the buy-in. But, if you breach $2.50, buy in at around $2.50 when you're pretty confident it's going to go up from there. You've got, a solid 25% profit until the all-time high. That would basically be guaranteed from that point. So, there are scenarios where it's good to buy this coin, but as for holding it in your, quote-unquote moon bag for the altcoin season, I don't know. I think there's better high caps to hold. I think there's better coins to hold in general. And I'm just a little bit skeptical about it. But, let me know what you guys think. Don't just go disliking the video just because you disagree with my opinions. Let me know what you think. Tell me what you're seeing on the chart. Tell me why you think, it's bullish, or whether you disagree with me or not. I'm very interested to hear that, because I don't want to hear a lot of people just agreeing with me, although it's nice to have some support on the channel, of course, I do like to hear alternative views, because at the end of the day, I'm not a trading guru. I'm not an absolute mastermind on the charts who gets 100% everything right. I'm just, I would say that I'm just better than average, right? Because I do this for a living, so I would say that I'm better than most people. I don't think that's too much of a stretch, but I'm not like a god, some sort of prophet who knows everything about the charts in every scenario. The fact of the matter is, I haven't spent a lot of time charting Cardano, but my personal opinion is that, you know, it's probably not the best thing to be buying right now, just based off my knowledge of the charts. So as I said, you know, let me know what you think. Tell me, you know, why you disagree with me. Show me some indicators. Maybe go into my Telegram group, post a few charts in there, have a discussion with me about it. I'm keen to hear from you guys about it, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.